Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, gang? So check this out. Have you guys been following this whole Cardi B trial thing? So apparently she's having a civil trial right now where she's being sued for, I believe, $24 million by a security guard of a Beverly Hills medical complex. The security guard's name is Imani Ellis. So Imani Ellis is suing Cardi B for $24 million, saying that she suffered emotional stress. She was fired from her job working security at I forget the name of the security company. It's escaping me right now. It's the one that starts with an A, I believe. I forget the name of it, but you guys know, like, if you guys know security, it's one of the main security companies. Also, she's saying that Cardi B scratched her face when Cardi B, was pointing or allegedly doing this with her finger and pointing it all in her face like that. So they're having a civil trial right now. And coming up on right after Labor Day, this Tuesday, September 2nd, I believe, they're going to have I believe, the closing arguments, and they're going to go into deliberations. So I've been pretty much paying attention to the trial. I think I've watched all the testimonies by now. They had Cardi B testify as a hostile witness. They had, of course, Imani Ellis, the one who's suing Cardi B, testify. They had Imani Ellis's mother and her grandmother testify as well, which I don't really understand how that's a thing, because obviously they're biased. They're gonna say whatever and do whatever that helps, their family member, which is Imani Ellis in this case. They also had the surgeon who actually performed work on Imani Ellis for the alleged scar that she had, or I guess she actually had a cut on her cheek that turned into a scar. Um, so he testified. They also had the doctor or the obstetrician, the gynecologist that saw Cardi B that day. That actually Cardi B was there to see. They interviewed him, or he testified. Also, the receptionist named Tiana, who was one of the people that was there at the office that Cardi B visited. She actually got in between Imani Ellis and Cardi B and tried to separate those two. She testified as well. And they also had I believe he's a psychiatrist or a psychologist. He's basically responsible for, well, he was the one that interviewed Imani Ellis at, I think, the request and being hired by Cardi B and her lawyers. So he testified, and he had some of the most damning uh, evidence, or I should say, information, I guess, against Imani Ellis, because basically what he said, and I'm paraphrasing and putting this in my own words because he's a very intelligent person. He uses very sophisticated terminology in regards to his specific field. Basically, he said that Imani Ellis, during her evaluation that was conducted under his supervision, basically she put a 10 on everything. She exemplified. How can I put this? Basically, he was saying that she was not being truthful during the evaluation. At least that's what the evidence pointed to. The evidence concluded that she had the position of somebody that was trying to intentionally uh, misrepresent what she was saying and what she was going through. Because remember, she's suing for emotional damages, and saying that she's stressed out, and she has a trauma, if you will. And the doctor basically said that, well, during my evaluation, everything signified that she's actually not undergoing a trauma, that this wasn't a trauma for her. And he sat there and outlined example after example after example after example after example of why he believes this to be true. So again, this psychologist is saying that Imani Ellis did not suffer a trauma, and that there is no emotional distress at all. This is what he's testifying to in the court of law. Also, the cut in question that is being used as the main point of evidence for this whole civil case is a 2 centimeter cut that was on Imani, that she testifies that Cardi B gave to her. Now, there was another person that actually suffered an injury or a cut to their face, and that was the receptionist, Tiana. And Tiana testified that she believes, to her recollection, that the cut stemmed from not Cardi B, but from the security guard Imani Ellis. And she also testified that she believes that Imani Ellis was in the wrong in this situation because during that whole, I guess, interaction between Imani and Cardi, basically Imani was going back and forth with Cardi B, yelling, screaming, cussing, and there was even arm flailing, like swatting. The doctor that Cardi was there to see, Doctor, I think his name is Dr. Finke. Um, he basically testified that there was a lot of like swatting going on between the two of them, and he had to come out from his office, from inside the office where he was at, because he heard the commotion going on outside, and this whole verbal altercation that lasted, I think the agreed upon time was like anywhere from like 40 to 50 seconds, give or take a few seconds here or there. So, and that doctor, Dr. Finke, also testified that he actually visually witnessed Imani Ellis, the security guard working at that medical complex at that time, strike his receptionist, Tiana. And that's how Tiana had, I think it was a cut on her forehead, if I'm not mistaken. So that was crazy. What else happened? Man, I don't know. It's like so much. This is honestly one of the dumbest, ridiculous, but also funniest and interesting trials that I've ever like watched on YouTube. You know, because it's honestly ridiculous, right? She's suing for $24 million. Imani Ellis is suing Cardi B for $24 million. For what? Definitely not for the 2 centimeter scratch that she supposedly suffered. Definitely not for emotional distress because she got into a verbal dispute with Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? And she definitely was the aggressor because the security guard, Imani Ellis, actually followed Cardi B from the time Cardi B got off the elevator down the hallway until she was basically chest to chest with Cardi, and Cardi was backed up against a wall. Again, Cardi B was there to check on her, in her own words, her cat, because she was pregnant with her first child at the time. This was back in 2018, February of 2018. So again, Cardi B gets off the elevator and she's like, she notices the security guard says, "Oh my God, it's Cardi B, it's Cardi B." So she turns around, sees the security guard with her camera to her chest like this, as if she's recording Cardi B. So Cardi B was like, "Hey, why are you recording me? Ain't you supposed to be security?" And then that's when the verbal disputes and altercation ensues, and they start going back and forth until Imani Ellis backs Cardi B all the way up against a wall somewhere. And again, Cardi B is testifying that Imani was actually the aggressor in this situation and that she was scared because, you know, Imani was way bigger than her. And Cardi B, again, was 3 to 4 months pregnant at that time, going to see a doctor. And I guess Imani, the security guard, was saying, "Hey, you're going to leave my building. You're going to get out of here." And Cardi B's going back and forth saying like, "No, no, I'm here as a patient. I'm here to see a doctor. I got business here." And it's a big mess, right? I never knew that like this kind of situation would lead to this big of a trial where there's an actual like jury and a whole like they're cross, you know, examining witnesses, and and they're bringing in psychologists and doctors and surgeons. It's crazy. It's crazy. But honestly, just to conclude this video, from everything that I've seen, from all the testimonies that I've heard, in my unprofessional opinion, because I'm just a guy on the internet, right? I think Imani Ellis, the security guard, was absolutely in the wrong. She was actually fired from her security guard company for being in the wrong. She apologized to her security guard company. Not only that, but she supposedly somehow lost the phone or disposed of the phone that she used during that incident. The same phone that Cardi says was used to record her. So there's no way of knowing or no way of retrieving any videos that may or may not be on that phone because she got rid of it. So everything is concluding that she is BS and she's not winning this trial. She already fooled up her lawyers. I don't know where she got these lawyers from, Timu or something like that, because they are not doing her justice. All right. She lost this trial. In my opinion, she lost a long time ago. Her lawyers are like just reaching for anything at this point. That's my opinion. Leave me your opinion in the comment section. Love, peace, and light. Love more than you hate. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. I'm out.